Hi there. I might have solved the problem of the leakage of the cells using boron. Boron has a structure the same as carbon apparently. And I coated the boron on a paper towel. Hang on, where is the boron? On the paper towel, both sides with the cellulose acetate, and made a little membrane. Slipped it in that cell I was testing yesterday. It's 20 hours idle, sitting there, dried out sort of. 1.49 volts. It was 1.5 today, early this morning at 9 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock now, but I gave it a short circuit and it was in the 200. 120 now for a short circuit and sort of holding not too bad. 111 milliamps. So that's not too bad after 20 hours I was sitting around, and I only had like about 20-second charge last night after I finished around about 2 o'clock. No, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday, and I let that rest. So today I'm going to test out my the same substance, the carbon, the feather carbon. Oops, I gotta go turn off the coffee pot. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I'll just turn the light on. There's no rust forming yet in these things. That's in salt water. Oh, hang on. Something I noticed about this stuff, if you whiz it around like this, sort of gathers in the center. I'll put it on the table. Alright, so we'll whiz it around. That's the feather carbon. So it stays in the center and then it works its way out for some reason once the turbulence stops. See, it draws itself to the side. You can sort of position a piece of it and it will attract to the outer edge for some reason. See? You watch, it's going to drift over. Try a bigger piece. It's not the current in the water moving it, or the motion of the water. Hey, interesting. Weird stuff. Stuff at the bottom hasn't rusted either. I'll see if I can get a piece out and we'll check it. So I don't think, oh no, I lost it. Fell on the ground, that was a bit of stuff. See, no forms of rust yet. It's fairly salty concentration. Oh, these tweezers are tight and they don't. Oh, I lost my piece of charcoal carbon. Doesn't matter anyway, so it hasn't rusted yet. I'll keep it in the water and keep updating. It's salt water. I think my container's got a leak. See? Patch of water. So the boron separator. Worth a try. Strange though. Didn't interfere with it. I'll give it more tests today. I'll put it on the data logger and see if we get the same results actually. I'll top it up with some electrolyte. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, the cell with the boron separator. About 2-minute charge. Oh, it's a bit under 1.5 minutes I'd say. We're holding 2.2. It actually looks like it's holding a bit better. But it's my first attempt at that boron separator. I got the idea from BioCell's YouTube page, site videos. So it does still leak a little bit. I added some extra electrolyte, so we'll do a test and see if we get any differences in our run time. Poor little data logger. I have no idea why it's making that much noise. I'll get back. We didn't get a minute above 2. But the cell could still be dry, only just putting electrolyte around the outside, so it's got to go in. Okay, we're still going. It's 15 minutes on a 1.5 minute charge. I counted that out with 1 and 2s, but we're at 11 milliwatt hours already. That boron separator is doing a bit more than just a separator, maybe, eh? That's a bit of the separator hanging out there. Don't forget it's still got the manganese dioxide in it, but this is the cell we left off on the last feather carbon video. Cell. And all I did was just damp around the outside just then before charging. So it could still be a bit dry in the center. But that paper towel absorbs a fair bit of stuff, and I will have to find a new paper towel because the contact areas are only the ridges and it doesn't compress right down, so I might be losing actually surface area, perhaps. But I'm thinking of going this way with this foam I've got somewhere. I got some like felt, I can't find it at the moment, my whole laboratory area is all a mess. Too many experiments and not enough cleaning. So look, littered graveyard of cells. Alright, I'll be back in about 5 minutes maybe, eh? Okay, cell's looking good. 22 minutes it ran for on a 1.5 minute charge, counted out manually. I'll monitor the charge for 1.5. I'll do 2 minutes. This time we've got 14 milliwatt hours on that run. I think that's way up for a minute's charge. So we'll try a 2 minute charge and I'll be back after the charge. I would say if I had copper contacts on the back of those pads, the cell would probably perform a lot better than, see how that alligator clip's just there? So you've got to take that into consideration. Bad cell design. I was adding electrolyte and I moved it there, and the charge voltage is slightly up, I think, under the 4 though. We're registering 2.6 up there at the moment. Okay, we're at 2 minutes. Disconnect the charge. No bubbling's coming out of the cell at that charge voltage. Disconnect that. Second run. We're a bit down on voltage here, I've noticed. Could be the contact. I'll adjust that clip in a minute and dry out the sides of the cell because I think they're wet. Well, I don't think they are wet. And that one's touching that membrane. I'll let this one run out. I think it's going to run out too quickly here. Okay, that run was a bit down for some reason. I'll give it another longer charge and see if we get the 11 whatever milliwatt hours it was. It did go for 12 minutes though, and 7 milliwatt hours. I could have wet the cell too much maybe. And see down there, the they might be overlapping and bonding and shorting out. Perhaps, even though that carbon's not that conductive, but the manganese is. Well, actually, I don't know about the manganese. I haven't tried it. I'll do that later. I'll give it a 5-minute charge and get back, and I'll clean up the edges of that cell. It's 5 minutes slipped right away from me. We're nearly at 9 minutes. So I might as well give it a 10-minute charge and get back. But while we wait, I managed to get me new bit of feather material coated, but I'm having trouble with this one. Sort of, when I painted the other side, it fell off the other side. I think the carbon needs to be in the ball mill really, because all the other carbons worked alright like that, even the manganese dioxide one. Both sides, and nothing fell off, but there's a difference in size of the particles here. This is really powdery manganese dioxide out of a D cell, and my other carbons are normally powdery. This one's sort of crystallized, so I'm going to put it in the ball mill, what's remaining, but some parts of it is double coated like around there, so we'll use that first. Alright, we got the 10 minutes. Yeah, close enough to 10 minutes. Time I turn that off, I'll leave the charger running. Alright, I'll disconnect the charger. The voltage is looking a bit better. It might have been a leftover charge from last night, and then I added a minute and a half because it had a 200 milliamp short when I checked it this morning, and now it's holding its thing charge after 10 minutes. So alright, we'll see if we get our 11 milliwatt hours out of it. Holding its voltage now, and plus I allowed it to dry out. I could be adding too much electrolyte, and the electrolyte is probably too strong maybe, because it's 2 molar. Robert Murray Smith said it should only be 1. But whereas I still have that much left in the stuff I'm using there, so I might as well use it all up for these experiments to keep it consistent. And the poor data logger, it sounds sick. There it goes. Hopefully the fan isn't consuming the power. That's not part of the experiment, I hope. Alright, I'll get back. Yeah, so that was a better run, 24 minutes and 15 milliwatt hours. So that first run we did, what got 11 milliwatt hours, must have been a charge from yesterday at 3 PM, and that 1.5 minutes must have been somewhere between 7 or 8 minutes worth of charge. Or 5. But still, not too bad. I'm gonna turn this one into a cell. That's that metal-y sort of, I'll just stick it on top of each other and pour some electrolyte on it and play around with it. If it's any good, I'll put it on the video. Well, I suspect it is not too bad, because over here in this cell, I got it. We'll pull it apart. Got it there. It was on there, stuck to the pads. There's 3 pieces. And this is that gel one. Stays pretty jelly. I haven't applied anything since the last lot of gel, which was 3 days ago. Oops, I'll put that there. We can check it out. I think this side's the negative. Doesn't have a separator though. This is what happens without that separator. That's 1.2, still pretty good. But it's a different composition to that one there. That's my test one. I'm good. That's a work in progress. So for its short circuit, it hasn't been charged up. It was charged up when that one was last night. Nah, not very much, 10 milliamps. Now it just dropped. So a quick little charge on that one, just as a peak. The same voltage is only yielding that. Cell couldn't be that, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, now we'll check. It's gone to 100. Alright, that's enough of that one, because that's a under experiment. So, this one was a single coated layer, feather carbon. The next cell we'll see will be a double coated cell with manganese dioxide, and we can get a direct comparison to that one with a double coated compared to a single coat. Okay, I'll set that up and I'll get back. Okay, for the next test we're going to try to use the whole surface area, so I'll be clamping 2 pieces of copper to the back of these, just the spring clamps as well, and we'll just hook up onto these points here. I'll just have them hanging out like that, and the material is the feather carbon again, because we're going to test out the correct size, and that's 0.42, slightly heavier. It's a bit bigger though, and it's also painted on both sides, so it might not be painted on both sides. I did run the brush over, but one side sort of fell off. So we're about the same carbon there, and a bit heavier on that one, 0.5. So we'll have like 1 gram of carbon, of feather carbon, when we add those two together eventually, but we'll start with the one cell, which are coated both sides. The boron separator, coated on both sides, is 0.8 of a gram, plus binder. And for the 2 manganese dioxides, they paint quite well. They're painted both sides. That's 0.3 of a gram, 3.4, and that one's 0.38 of a gram. So there's a little bit, touch more, but not too bad for a hand painted object. Alright, I'll assemble the cell, and one's going to have a binder. Oh yeah, don't worry, we're making one cell, and the other cell is going to be that stuff, just for a test. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, ready for the test. This one here is the feather carbon on the negative side, a brand new boron separator, and manganese dioxide on the positive side, which is the top side. So I'll just turn the meters on, put the positive on. Okay, we're 0.6. It's only a fresh cell. Should have plenty of electrolyte in it. And for a short circuit, without a charge, it's been sitting for about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 40 milliamps and dropping. Alright, I'll give it a minute's charge so we can tell what it's doing, and I'll be back. Okay, we're 1 minute and 28 seconds. I'll just drop the charge off. Turn off monitor, and we'll do a 30-minute load test on the new full-size cell. Gonna play up. There we go. Alright, so we've dropped a bit. I made the other cell also with those bits of steel, or whatever they are. They're steel. I've got a layer of steel on the negative side, the old boron separator from the last test we just watched, and a manganese dioxide on the positive side. So we'll just check to see what that one is. That's a novelty cell. because we probably won't use that stuff. And when I get a in the refractory crucible, that stuff won't form anyway. Well, I hope not. Alright, I'll let this run. Okay, for the first 1 minute charge, it's a 7 minute run time, 5 milliwatt hours. So it looks okay-ish. We'll check it out now with a 10-minute charge, and I'll be back after the 10-minute charge. Okay, we're at the end of the second charge for this cell. We've the voltage has kept creeping up, which is a good thing, and it's somewhat stable. It's a little bit erratic, but not too bad. I'll disconnect the charge, turn the monitor off, and we're at 2.3, which is, I think, is a new one. But it's dropping down. Alright, we'll do a test to see how long it actually goes for. That was a 10-minute charge. Okay, it's looking like it was the other day. Can't really see a difference between double coated and a single coated, but I think they were the same weight, so maybe the question is I can't put too much coating on it. Actually, it keeps wiping off. A certain amount will only be applied, but that's not coated on that side, and it's a difference. Oh, where's my little piece? See, that's shiny on that side, and not as shiny on that side though. Still is in there a bit. Most of it's stuck to the glass on that side. And we got a minute above 2, so we're doing good. I'll get back when it's finished. Hopefully it's more than 14 milliwatt hours. Hi there. 17 minutes on 10-minute charge and 12 milliwatt hours. It seems to be somewhat down a bit. Maybe the little copper pads, or it needs to be soaked in a bit more. I'll give it a little bit more electrolyte and try again for the 10-minute charge. I'll be back. Okay, we're at 21 minutes. Slowly was going up. Yeah, it's going up. Looks like a steady little curve. So it could probably take more charge. It's only doing about 60 milliamps. Disconnect the charge, stop the monitor, and 30 milliamp load test after 20-minute charge time. Voltage is somewhat up a timing a little bit. Alright, I'll get back. Okay, so that's the 20-minute charge. We got 21 minutes, 36 seconds, 15 milliwatt hours, so still undecided. Curve's a bit wavy. So I'm going to try double carbons and see if it increases or not. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, we're at 20 minutes on the 2-layer cell. That's 2 layers of feather carbon and 2 layers of manganese dioxide. I think it's about 1.8 grams total, thereabouts. I think it's 0.4 for the feather carbon by 2 and 0.5 for the manganese. So disconnect the monitor and 30 milliamp load test after 20-minute charge. Double cell. So this should really say if we're getting, because it's coated both sides, and we should get an improvement in milliwatt hours if it's working that way. Alright, I'll get back. Okay, we're 20 minutes into that one with the double carbons. It seems to work, maybe. It's 17 milliwatt hours and it's got 1.1 volts. Alright, I'll get back. The end of the double layer cell, it's made at 22 milliwatt hours and 33 minutes on a 20-minute charge. And it's bounced back to 1.2. That's not too bad. I'll charge it up for 20 minutes and I'll leave it till sometime tomorrow and we'll see what power. I doubt it if we'll get anywhere near that, but we'll see what it is. Alright, I'll see you then. Okay, the 20 minutes is over. It's holding 2.3 volts and 2.22 there. Oh, can't see. Alright, so I'll just disconnect it. Put it over here. I don't know, I'll leave it there for tonight. And we'll just play around with this for a little bit. That should be the positive. And that one there. That cell there's got this stuff with the dull side facing down and the carbon coated side facing up towards the membrane on the negative side. Oh, no, it's round back to front. So there's some sort of difference. The manganese dioxide's on the top layer. Right, so it's saying it's 0.1 volts. And about 10 milliamps. And we'll turn up the charge for this cell because it doesn't really matter. We'll just do quick bursts. I'll put it on 10 volts and connecting 1 amp at 10 volts, but it's only registering okay. And we'll do a short, probably won't be that grand, 500 milliamps and dropping. Oh. Well, that's different. I'll give it another burst. And we'll connect the motor. Alright, that's long enough. Connecting the load. Well, actually it's doing 100 milliamps. So it's got the coating at the bottom. I'll just check. Alright, so they're the metal pieces. Then the membrane. So it is right, and the manganese dioxide is underneath. So this time it's saying because of those pieces are in there, it's saying they are positive. That's bizarre. Normally the manganese is. Oh, which way was it? I think that was the negative. That was the positive. Yep. Yeah, and that cell was the used membrane as well from the other cell, but that wasn't damaged or anything. And another short circuit, 300 milliamps. That's probably doing better than the other cells. Well, we'll give it a little charge. It's on massive voltage. Turn it over. Still on charge. We'll give it a run and see what we get. Still on charge, probably going to cook it. I'll add some electrolyte. Alright, that should be long enough at that voltage and milliamps. Alright, we can do a test straight away. 30 milliamp load on crazy metal coated carbon, or carbon coated metal, no, metal coated with carbon. Well, that's actually performing okay. It's only a few pieces in there. I just didn't want to layer them on top. I could have. I'll just get a piece. I'll show you what I mean. So some pieces aren't coated. But I picked all the pieces that were coated, and the other side, which looks like that, was put down on the carbon graphite pad. And another thing to note, it swapped the cell's polarity around. There's one of the manganese oxides I'm using in that other cell. So this one's actually looking alright. I'll get back when it runs out. I'll be surprised. I was expecting this to be run out. It's 8 minutes, 7 milliwatt hours, and 9 minutes now, and it's at 1.2 volts. So maybe it's a bad idea putting. I'm going to have to try the other cell without any carbon on the negative side, and just the manganese oxide and the separator, I think. Because maybe that ore or that metal, well, this stuff is quite good. It's sort of all scaly looking. We'll get some of that under the scope, I think. This is probably going to be a longer video now. I'll get back. It's going to run out. Oh no, it's still 1 volt. Well, it's done. It did 8 milliwatt hours and 12 minutes on that. It was 1 amp. It was taking 1 amp, so it's pretty high. It was 10 volts, but it was only registering 3 or 4. Alright, for a short circuit after that run, 100 milliamps and dropping, yeah. So, another little rapid charge. Alright, that's about 20 seconds for a quick little short circuit. 700 milliamps. Alright, that beats me other cells. Serious. So I'm going to try, well, after we check this cell tomorrow, I'll take the carbon off the negative side and leave the manganese, and we'll see what we get. Hopefully it doesn't turn out like that, because that stuff might be quite good. It's layered with carbon burnt on there, and they do use substrates to grow things, carbons. So yeah, we'll check the short circuit now. 400, that's still pretty high after this period of time. Set. And it runs the little motor quite well, I'd imagine. I'll flatten it some more, because I'm going to give it a 10-minute charge and then data log it, see what we actually get. It's holding 200 milliamps, 190. Well, so far its performance is up. Or its characteristics look better. Oh, it's stuck. Alright, I'll get back after the 10 minutes charge. Okay, that was slightly too long. 25-minute charge time. Yeah, let's stop the monitor. and a run, 30 milliamp run. Still looking okay. Alright, I'll get back. It's still running, 28 minutes into the run, 21 milliwatt hours. I'll be back. Okay, it went to 29 minutes and total energy 21 milliwatt hours, so not much more than it was anyway. And it's bounced back to 1.2 volts. And for a short circuit after that one. $160 dropping. Yeah, still not too bad. So I might take out that whatever that stuff is. This stuff out of the cell. Give it a 20-minute charge and see if we get 21 milliwatt hours and 39 minutes on that one, so I'll be back. Okay, I don't know if you can see that there. That's all the material. That was on the positive side of the plate, which is now the negative side. It's reversed back. The manganese dioxide is on the positive side. So not a lot of material, but I had that carbon stuff facing towards the membrane. I'll give it a 20-minute charge. Oh, hang on, we'll do a short circuit without that gear in there. I think it was like 200 milliamps before, so only 150 and dropping. So that stuff may have made a difference. Alright, so I'll charge it up and I'll get back. Okay, it's about 24 minutes on charge. That was about the same as the other one. Same voltage, but it was a bit lower. I'll stop monitoring. Seems to be holding its voltage the same amount. Let's see, with a 30 milliamp load. This cell has had the strange substance removed, and it's just graphite pad, boron separator and manganese dioxide. So if it works like this, maybe the carbon doesn't even do anything. Looking good. About the same. Well, at least that's good news. You can put junk in the cell and they still work. Probably working better. Could be the boron. Interesting. Alright, I'll get back. We'll see how long. We have to get 21 milliwatt hours. And if this thing gets 21 milliwatt hours, oh gee, I'll keep the negative side plates free of anything, I reckon. I just had a thought. This stuff here doesn't look as shiny anymore. Maybe some of it's separated off the top of that plate because that was facing the membrane, and it could be actually in the membrane still. So that would explain why that's going so good. I'll do it with a fresh plate and a membrane tomorrow, but I'll keep this running just in case. Oh, the cell's performing better. I think it's 12 milliwatt hours at 1.5 volts. 12 minutes. If it keeps that rate, it will be like 24 milliwatt hours. That does beat it. Yeah, interesting. I'll be maybe looking at putting nothing on the negative side except for the membrane boron. I'll be back. Okay, just finished. 21 milliwatt hours and 30 minutes. It's about the same, which is interesting. So now I'll have to try a plain one. We've the boron separator and just a manganese oxide without that stuff being tainted perhaps on that membrane separator. Alright, I'll set that cell up maybe today or tomorrow. Alright. Hi there, it's 15 to 18 hours. I forgot when I last charged that cell up. That was the cell we left with a 20-minute charge overnight. We're 1.6 volts today. After 15, I think it might be 18 hours. I reckon it was at 5 or 6 o'clock. I charged it maybe. I have to look at the video. I can't remember for some reason. Alright, so we're set for a 30 milliamp load test after 15 hours of sitting around. I don't know how it will go. It's dropped down pretty much, but not sure if the data logger should be making that noise still. Probably not too bad for the cell. It's dried out. I haven't added any electrolyte. It's probably tacky. While we're waiting for that, no signs of rust appearing in this stuff yet, but there is some yellow forming. See that yellow stuff? I don't think it's salt dropping out. I reckon it might be what is it? The urea. It's turned into maybe graphitic carbon nitride in there. Maybe it's in the carbon perhaps. It's a yellow, that's what the stuff looks like. Sort of yellowish. Oh, spilling it. So I'll keep that in the salt water. See if it goes rusty. There's no signs of rust. So I'm pretty sure we've eliminated metal filings. I didn't get the cylinder that hot to get metal in there. I've had sugar carbon in there at the torch's maximum capacity for 6 hours. And that didn't come out attracted to magnets. It's characteristics, I think, of the feather carbon, or feather carbon blended with urea made that property. So after 15 to 18 hours or so, maybe a bit longer, we're probably only going to get 2 milliwatt hours out of it. But that's still better result. Normally they're going flat. I think that's attributed to that membrane, maybe. Because the other one, the last cell we were testing last night, the one with those weird bits of metal plates or whatever, they might not even be metal themselves too. Because the cylinder was actually clean. I'll grab a piece and we'll look at it. We've lost a lot of shine off of this stuff. Put that down there. So I reckon some of it's actually stuck to the paper towel. That's the underside of it, what was facing the cylinder, and this is where the carbon was building up on it. So the wall of the container might be acting as a substrate, and the carbon fibers are growing over it. Because if we look in the, I need a torch. I'll let that run. I'll get a torch and we'll study the side wall of that vessel. Okay, so if we look down there, I'll get the torch. So looking at the top section there, It's sort of got a grey colour on the metal, and then we got these flaky bits. So the vessel never really, it shouldn't have, I cleaned that vessel off before we put anything in there. Still got it floating around the sides, but the other carbons what were in this pot and stuff could layer up and cause some sort of other sort of catalyst. See that little flaky bit? So it's hard to tell, so I can't wait to get that one going. That should eliminate any metals. I might have to take it out of that tin or drill some holes in it to let moisture come out while it's burning. And the cell's nearly, oh no, it's 0.6 volts. We got 2 milliwatt hours, 3 milliamp hours for some reason. Normally it's lower on the milliamp hours and higher on the wattage. So we still got 5-minute run time after being idle. Not too bad. Multimeter's actually higher on the voltage. 0.58 to 0.55. Right, and then the next experiment I'm going to try is the cell with a piece of manganese dioxide, and that's it in the cell, just to eliminate, because this cell here, this is the other one we took out the carbon from the negative side, and we've just got the boron separator and manganese dioxide, which pulled out 21 milliwatt hours last night. So it's going to be interesting. I've tested these cells without any carbon and they're only like 5 milliamp hours or something with no carbon. Alright, so what do we get? 3 milliwatt hours, 7-minute runtime after being idle for over 15 hours. And voltage bounce back is still pretty good. When we compare that cell, one we just tested, with that one from last night, the last run. Oh, other way around. This cell's only 0.4, so it's down. They're about the same wetness, and no milliamp draw, not on that range, not 10 amp range. Alright, so I'll prepare the next cell, which will just be a manganese dioxide layer, and we'll see how that performs. Okay, the cell with just the manganese layer in it doesn't look like it's performing too well already. It's coming up to 19 minutes. The voltage is unstable and the voltage isn't high, and it's the same voltage setting. I think we're just leaking. Normally we're at 2.5 by now. And this has just been going up and down crazy. I think it's shorting out through the manganese dioxide layer. So we'll disconnect the charge. We won't worry about going to 20. We're a bit short. I don't think it will work. Look, it's dropping already. Stop the monitoring. We'll give it a run anyway to see if we get anything. So that was a brand new piece of manganese dioxide on paper towel, sandwiched between two graphite pads. So we can eliminate the just the manganese dioxide doing the cell's performance from the last test, which was 21 milliwatt hours. So the next test after this, I'll put a boron separator in there and see if we get the same results as last night with the 21 milliamps. So look at that, that was poor. Alright, so disappointing. So it's not the manganese layer doing it. I'll be back with the new cell and a 20-minute charge. Okay, I have the boron separator on, but the funny thing is, when I put the boron separator in the cell, the manganese dioxide layer is no longer the positive side, it swaps. So boron's doing something really amazing, I think. Or we'll find out after this 20-minute charge, and looking stable as well with voltage. Alright, I'll be back in 20 minutes. Okay, I was just having lunch. 22 minutes on charge, but the charge curve is quite stable and we're higher on voltage again now. And that was, it's got a layer of manganese dioxide, which is now the negative side, and a borax separator, then graphite pad. Go figure that one out. Alright, disconnecting the charge. Stop monitoring. And 30 milliamp test. Hopefully it doesn't do the 21 milliwatt hours, because that would mean this stuff doesn't do anything either. So we'll be able to tell if it holds its 2 volts for 1 minute, which I don't think it is. Phew. Nope, so that's disappointing. So the carbon does have an effect. Phew. Oh, the poor data logger hasn't had that much use. Alright, I'll get back. Okay, back. It only went for 4 minutes. 3 milliwatt hours. That's so wow. That makes that other stuff. Where's the tweezers when you want them? Makes this stuff here. Come on, fucky. The really good material, because that was the cell that did 21 milliwatt hours. And then I pulled this stuff out and it did 21 milliwatt hours. Oops, I'm just looking for the membrane. Oh, where'd that go? Well, somewhere. I've lost it. Nope. Oh, where'd that go? Oh, doesn't matter. I'll look at that. I'll look for that later. So, I'll stick that cell back together with that membrane when I find that membrane. And we'll give it another test to see if it... I'm thinking after I pulled that metal stuff out, it plated whatever was on it to that membrane. That's why we got that second run at 21 milliwatt hours without anything on the negative side plate. But still, it's a bit different putting that boron separator, which changes the sides of it. I'll show you. So we're on the positive, that's the top layer. I will keep that up there. And it's a plain piece of graphite plate, and that's the separator. And there's the manganese dioxide on the negative side this time, which is strange. It's just boron. Boron is proving interesting. Alright, so I'll find the other boron which had that metal stuff attached to it. I just can't find it anywhere laying around here. It's not, you can tell the difference of it. It's sort of grey. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, what I just did was added a piece of the feather carbon on top of the manganese dioxide, and then the borax separator and the graphite pad, and it switched the polarity back now. The top plate with nothing on it is the positive, and the manganese, hang on, or is that the same way? Oh no, it's the same way, I'm silly, don't worry. Yeah, sorry, mistake. Alright, I'm going to charge it up for 20 minutes anyway and see if the carbon on the manganese side does anything. Okay, this is the boron separator with the bits of that metal carbon. There's still little flakes of it there, but I think there's a bit more than what we can't see coated onto there, because this one here produced 21 milliamps with manganese and the boron separator, and we just did a test with the boron separator and a new piece of manganese dioxide and only yielded very bad results. So wondering if I've got a brand new piece of flaky metal. It's hard to pick up, it breaks. That's the substance right there. Wonder if that is actually metal. It's really shiny, but it's brittle. And that's the stuff what would have, even that thin stuff coating, there's a layer of stuff all over it. Such a little amount, it could even be graphene perhaps growing on that layer. I will put this piece under the scope. Alright, I'll get back after 20 minutes on this one. Okay, we're at 22 minutes for the cell with graphite pad, manganese dioxide, feather carbon and boron separator, and then graphite pad. That was 22 minutes, nearly 23 minutes on charge. Stop the monitoring. And we're holding our voltage not too bad. I don't think we're going to get our 1 volt for 2 minutes. No, 2 volts for 1 minute, sorry. Put it that way. That dropped quickly. So that's another good sign that the carbon should go over on the other side of the membrane. Alright, we'll see how long this runs for in this setup. I'm trying to ball mill the feather carbon, but it's the big balls in there are steel. They're from a mouse, the roller ball with the plastic taken off. I should have left the plastic on actually. And the smaller ones are stainless, but neon magnet sticks to it. And the stuff's sticking to the balls, and you watch. Just holding it above the balls and only a little bit of stuff coming out through the groove. It's only been in there for like an hour. And even if you slow it down, the stuff just stays above the balls. With the cell in that configuration, it's useless as well. 4 milliwatt hours, 6 minute run time on a 20-minute charge. Quite a difference in setup. Changes your cell dramatically here. So this is our current cell we were testing. We're just trying different positions of the carbons. So on the top plate we just have the graphite pad, the separator, which is a borax coated with cellulose acetate mix, same as the other carbon mixes. And that's the piece of feather carbon, and the manganese piece directly on the plate. And that's the cell which doesn't perform too well. in that layout, but it does perform with manganese dioxide on the positive, separator. I'll add some electrolyte. So borax separator, which is new for these cells. I mean boron. Then the feather carbon, then the other electrode, and that makes our cell. That cell there should function better than the previous cell we just had. So, and the other cell, the one with the specks on, too bad the little shiny specks you see here, there's all the active material. I think there's more active material hanging out in there. Oh. That's the manganese dioxide layer on the other side. That one ran extremely well with the whatever we're going to call this material. And then with that material removed, but there's stuff on the face of it there being stuck to the pad. It is glittery. Oh, hang on, if I can sort of rotate it enough, you'll be able to see it. So either it's something new or it's just graphene really, being coated onto those little wafers. So that's something to look at, I guess. That stuff there might not be reproducible. Unless it's always going to go in that metal container. But I'll do a test in the refractory as well and compare the feather carbons to each other. And see if that actually makes a difference. If it still acts like this stuff does, well, we'll know. I've got a piece of that flaky stuff in there too to see if it starts oxidizing like metal. But nothing is oxidizing, and it always hangs out there. You watch this. I'll put it down here. I'm not going to see it. Alright, we'll get over the top. We'll try to get a piece. Takes a bit longer to move in a larger jar. Alright, that's pretty still, right? Takes way longer in this form, but it does drift over. I think I helped it along with the laser. I'm not sure if I did, but I'll look through this because it might bounce back into my eyes. So I'm looking through the camera only. Oh, it's hard through there. It's moving faster. Oh, because it's getting closer to those other pieces. 16, 17. So it's in water, so it's a bit cooler by the looks of it. So it makes the laser expand really wide, I noticed, or it could be the water. I've never poked it in. Yes, I have, doing some experiments in boiling water. Alright, so yeah, this will be it for this video. I'll put this one right on the end with the scope looking at this. So thanks for watching. It's a bit long, but might be interesting. The carbon is quite interesting to me. So, yep, there you go.